Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Cara herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Chapter 10, Narcissism and Mental Health. So, as we are aware that mental health and narcissism pretty much go hand in hand, even though that narcissism is more of a personality disorder, what causes a person to have that trait? It has to be something that's more psychological, deeply rooted inside of them that causes them to be that way. And so in this chapter, which is chapter 10, we talk about the mental health aspect of being a narcissist and what it has on a person, on an individual with this personality disorder.
Narcissism and mental health. Narcissism, particularly narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, intersects with mental health in various ways, both for individuals with narcissistic traits and those affected by them. Here's how narcissism relates to mental health. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. NPD is a mental health condition characterized by a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. Individuals with NPD often have an inflated sense of self-importance, a sense of entitlement, and a tendency to exploit others for their own gain. While they may appear confident and charismatic on the surface, they often struggle with underlying feelings of insecurity, shame, and inadequacy. Co-occurring mental health conditions. Narcissism can co-occur with other mental health conditions, such as depression, anxiety, or substance abuse. Individuals with NPD may use maladaptive coping mechanisms, such as substance abuse or reckless behavior, to cope with underlying feelings of emptiness or low self-esteem. Impact on relationships. Narcissistic behavior can have a significant impact on relationships, both personally and professionally. Individuals with NPD may struggle to maintain healthy relationships due to their inability to empathize with others, their tendency to manipulate or exploit others for their own gain, and their difficulty accepting criticism or feedback. Effects on family dynamics. Growing up with a narcissistic parent or caregiver can have long-lasting effects on children's mental health and well-being. Children of narcissistic parents may experience emotional neglect, manipulation, or abuse, leading to issues such as low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, and difficulty forming healthy relationships in adulthood. Therapeutic interventions. Therapy, particularly psychotherapy or counseling, can be beneficial for individuals with NPD and those affected by narcissistic behavior. Therapy can help individuals with NPD develop insight into their behavior, learn healthier coping mechanisms, and improve their interpersonal skills. It can also provide support and validation for individuals who have been impacted by narcissistic relationships or family dynamics. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining one's mental health when dealing with narcissistic individuals. Establishing clear boundaries can help protect against manipulation, exploitation, and emotional harm, and can empower individuals to prioritize their own well-being in relationships. Self-care and support. Practicing self-care and seeking support from trusted friends, family members, or support groups can help individuals cope with the emotional toll of dealing with narcissistic behavior. Engaging in activities that promote relaxation, stress reduction, and emotional healing can help individuals maintain their mental health and resilience in challenging situations. Overall, narcissism intersects with mental health in complex ways, affecting individuals' thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and relationships. By recognizing the impact of narcissistic behavior on mental health and seeking appropriate support and interventions, individuals can work towards healing, growth, and greater emotional well-being. Case study. Here is an example of a narcissism dealing with mental health. In a bustling city, there lived a man named Nathan. Nathan was a successful entrepreneur, admired by many for his charm, confidence, and ambition. He had built a thriving business empire from the ground up and was known for his ability to command attention and respect in any room he entered. However, behind Nathan's facade of success and confidence lurked a deep-seated insecurity and a desperate need for validation. Nathan had grown up in a household where he never felt good enough, where his achievements were dismissed, and his feelings were invalidated. As a result, he developed a relentless drive to prove himself to the world and to gain the admiration and approval he so desperately craved. Despite his outward success, Nathan's mental health began to deteriorate as his narcissistic tendencies intensified. He became increasingly preoccupied with his image and reputation, constantly seeking validation and admiration from others to fill the void within himself. He surrounded himself with people who fed his ego and bolstered his sense of self-importance, but deep down, he felt empty and unfulfilled. Nathan's relationship suffered as a result of his narcissistic behavior. He struggled to form genuine connections with others, viewing them as mere pawns in his quest for validation and success. He was quick to discard anyone who didn't meet his inflated expectations or threatened his fragile sense of superiority. As Nathan's mental health continued to deteriorate, he began to experience bouts of depression and anxiety. The relentless pressure to maintain his image and prove himself worthy took a toll on his emotional well-being, leaving him feeling exhausted, disillusioned, and disconnected from his true self. It wasn't until Nathan hit rock bottom that he realized he needed help. He sought imaging coaching to explore the root causes of his narcissistic behavior and the underlying feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness that fueled it. But he was referred to a therapist. Through therapy, Nathan began to unravel the layers of his persona, confronting the pain and trauma of his past and learning to cultivate self-compassion and self-acceptance. With time and support, Nathan embarked on a journey of healing and self-discovery. He learned to prioritize his mental health and well-being, setting boundaries in his relationships, and cultivating genuine connections based on empathy, respect, and authenticity. Though the road to recovery was long and challenging, Nathan emerged stronger, more resilient, and more at peace with himself than ever before. In the end, Nathan's story serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between narcissism and mental health. It highlights the importance of seeking help, confronting painful truths, and embracing vulnerability as essential steps on the path to healing and self-acceptance. What danger could a narcissism dealing with mental health do to people? Here are a few when narcissism intersects with mental health challenges. It can pose various dangers to both the individual with narcissistic traits and those around them. Here are some potential dangers. Emotional manipulation and abuse. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies may manipulate and exploit others for their own gain, using tactics such as gaslighting, guilt-tripping, or emotional blackmail. This can lead to emotional abuse and psychological harm for those who are targeted. Toxic relationships. Narcissistic individuals often struggle to form healthy, genuine connections with others, viewing them as objects to fulfill their needs rather than as individuals with their own thoughts, feelings, and autonomy. This can result in toxic and one-sided relationships characterized by manipulation, control, and emotional volatility. Inability to form meaningful connections. Narcissistic individuals may struggle to form and maintain meaningful relationships due to their self-centeredness, lack of empathy, and difficulty relating to others on an emotional level. This can lead to feelings of loneliness, isolation, and disconnection from others. Exploitative behavior. Narcissistic individuals may exploit and take advantage of others for their own gain, whether it's in personal relationships, professional settings, or other areas of life. They may disregard the feelings and needs of others, prioritize their own interests, and engage in unethical or harmful behavior without remorse. Negative impact on mental health, both for the individual with narcissistic traits and those affected by them. Narcissism can have a negative impact on mental health. Narcissistic individuals may struggle with underlying feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, and emptiness, leading to depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Those affected by narcissistic behavior may experience trauma, low self-esteem, and emotional distress as a result of the manipulation and abuse they endure. Interpersonal conflict. Narcissistic behavior often leads to interpersonal conflict and turmoil, both in personal relationships and in professional settings. Individuals with narcissistic traits may engage in power struggles, aggression, and conflict with others, leading to tension, resentment, and instability in relationships and environments. Impact on children and families. Growing up in a household with a narcissistic parent or caregiver can have profound effects on children's mental health and well-being. Children may experience emotional neglect, manipulation, or abuse, leading to issues such as low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, and difficulty forming healthy relationships in adulthood. Overall, narcissism dealing with mental health challenges can have far-reaching consequences for both the individual with narcissistic traits and those around them. It's important for both parties to seek support, set boundaries, and prioritize their own mental health and well-being in order to mitigate the potential dangers and foster healthier relationships and environments. Case study. Here is an example of a success story of a narcissism dealing with a personality disorder. Joan had always been the life of the party. With her magnetic personality, charming demeanor, and impeccable style, she effortlessly commanded attention wherever she went. However, beneath her confident exterior lay a deep-seated insecurity and a desperate need for validation that she struggled to fill. Growing up, Joan had been praised for her beauty and intelligence, but she never felt like she was enough. She constantly sought affirmation from others, craving admiration and attention to soothe her fragile ego. Her relationships were often tumultuous, characterized by drama, manipulation, and a lack of genuine connection. It wasn't until Joan hit rock bottom that she realized she needed help. Her career was in shambles, her relationships were in ruins, and she felt more alone than ever. She knew she had to confront the demons that had been holding her back for so long.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Carroll style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarrollstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like.
With the support of a compassionate life coach at Imaging Coaching, Joan began to unravel the layers of her persona and confront the underlying issues that fueled her narcissistic tendencies. Through the help with a life coach, she gained insight into her behavior, learned to recognize her worth beyond external validation, and developed healthier coping mechanisms for dealing with her insecurities. Joan also embarked on a journey of self-discovery, exploring her passions, interests, and values beyond the superficial trappings of success. She found fulfillment in helping others, volunteering her time and talents to support causes she believed in and building genuine connections based on empathy, respect, and authenticity. As Joan's self-awareness grew, so did her capacity for empathy and compassion. She began to see the world through the eyes of others, recognizing the impact of her actions on those around her and striving to make amends for past mistakes. She reached out to loved ones she had pushed away, offering sincere apologies and a willingness to change. Over time, Joan's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. She rebuilt her career from the ground up, this time with a focus on using her talents to make a positive difference in the world rather than seeking external validation. Her relationships became deeper and more meaningful, grounded in trust, respect, and mutual understanding. Today, Joan is thriving in every aspect of her life. She has found inner peace and fulfillment, no longer reliant on the fleeting highs of external validation to define her self-worth. While she still grapples with her narcissistic tendencies from time to time, she has the tools and support she needs to navigate life's challenges with grace, humility, and authenticity. Joan's journey is a testament to the power of self-awareness, resilience, and personal growth in overcoming the grip of narcissistic personality disorder. With determination, support, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, it is possible to break free from the cycle of narcissism and live a life filled with purpose, connection, and fulfillment. Co-occurring mental health issues. Co-occurring mental health issues, also known as comorbid or dual diagnosis conditions, refer to the presence of two or more mental health disorders in an individual simultaneously. These conditions may interact with and exacerbate each other, leading to more complex symptoms and treatment challenges. Here are some common examples of co-occurring mental health issues. Depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety often co-occur, with individuals experiencing symptoms of both disorders concurrently. This can manifest as persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness alongside excessive worry, fear, or panic attacks. Substance use disorders and mental illness. Substance use disorders frequently co-occur with other mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Substance abuse may be used as a form of self-medication to alleviate symptoms of underlying mental health issues, but it can exacerbate symptoms and lead to additional problems. Bipolar disorder and substance abuse. Bipolar disorder, characterized by episodes of manic highs and depressive lows, commonly co-occurs with substance abuse. Individuals with bipolar disorder may use drugs or alcohol to self-medicate during manic episodes or to alleviate depressive symptoms, leading to an increased risk of addiction and complications. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, and self-harm. Borderline personality disorder is often associated with self-harming behaviors such as cutting, burning, or substance abuse. Co-occurring conditions such as depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, may further exacerbate these behaviors. Attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and anxiety. ADHD and anxiety frequently co-occur, with individuals experiencing symptoms of both disorders simultaneously. ADHD-related impulsivity and difficulty focusing may exacerbate anxiety symptoms, while anxiety may worsen ADHD symptoms such as restlessness and irritability. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and substance abuse. PTSD often co-occurs with substance abuse, particularly in individuals who have experienced trauma. Substance use may be used as a coping mechanism to numb emotional pain or avoid distressing memories, but it can exacerbate PTSD symptoms and interfere with recovery. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and depression. OCD and depression commonly co-occur, with individuals experiencing obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors alongside persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. Co-occurring depression may worsen OCD symptoms and impair daily functioning. Eating disorders and depression. Eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, or binge eating disorder often co-occur with depression. Co-occurring depression may contribute to low self-esteem, feelings of guilt or worthlessness, and exacerbate disordered eating behaviors. Schizophrenia and substance abuse. Schizophrenia is often co-occurring with substance abuse, as individuals may use drugs or alcohol to self-medicate symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, or social withdrawal. Substance abuse can worsen symptoms of schizophrenia and interfere with treatment effectiveness. Chronic pain and depression. Chronic pain conditions such as fibromyalgia, migraines, or back pain commonly co-occur with depression. The experience of persistent pain can lead to feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and impaired functioning, exacerbating symptoms of depression. It's important for individuals with co-occurring mental health issues to receive comprehensive evaluation and treatment from qualified mental health professionals who can address the unique needs and complexities of their conditions. Integrated treatment approaches that target both disorders simultaneously, such as medication management, psychotherapy, and behavioral interventions, are often the most effective in promoting recovery and improving overall well-being. Treatment options and therapeutic interventions for narcissistic individuals. Treating narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, can be challenging due to the individual's resistance to acknowledging their symptoms and seeking help. However, several treatment options and therapeutic interventions may be beneficial for individuals with narcissistic traits. Psychotherapy, talk therapy, psychotherapy, particularly modalities such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, or psychodynamic therapy, can help individuals with NPD gain insight into their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, identify maladaptive patterns, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Therapists work with clients to explore underlying issues contributing to narcissistic traits, such as low self-esteem, fear of vulnerability, or unresolved childhood trauma. Group therapy. Group therapy provides individuals with NPD the opportunity to interact with others who share similar experiences and challenges. In a supportive group setting, participants can practice social skills, receive feedback from peers, and learn to navigate interpersonal relationships more effectively. Group therapy can also foster empathy, accountability, and a sense of community among participants. Schema therapy. Schema therapy is an integrative approach that combines elements of cognitive behavioral, psychodynamic, and experiential therapies to address deeply ingrained patterns of thinking, feeling, and behavior known as schemas. Individuals with NPD may benefit from schema therapy to identify and challenge maladaptive schemas, develop healthier coping strategies, and build more adaptive ways of relating to themselves and others. Mindfulness-based interventions. Mindfulness-based interventions, such as mindfulness meditation or mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, can help individuals with NPD cultivate self-awareness, emotional regulation, and present moment awareness. By learning to observe their thoughts and emotions without judgment, individuals can develop greater insight into their narcissistic tendencies and reduce impulsive or reactive behaviors. Emotion-focused therapy, EFT. Emotion-focused therapy focuses on helping individuals identify and express their emotions in healthy ways, particularly those that are difficult or painful to acknowledge. For individuals with NPD, EFT can help them develop greater emotional awareness, empathy, and interpersonal skills, leading to more authentic and fulfilling relationships. Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT is a type of cognitive behavioral therapy that emphasizes mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness skills. Individuals with NPD may benefit from DBT techniques to manage intense emotions, reduce impulsivity, and improve communication and conflict resolution skills in relationships. Medication. While there are no specific medications approved for treating NPD, medications such as antidepressants or mood stabilizers may be prescribed to alleviate symptoms of co-occurring conditions such as depression, anxiety, or mood disorders that often accompany NPD. It's important to note that treatment for narcissistic personality disorder often requires long-term commitment and collaboration between the individual with NPD and their therapist. Additionally, individuals with NPD may be resistant to therapy or may engage in treatment for reasons other than personal growth or change. Therefore, a compassionate and empathetic approach is essential in building rapport and fostering motivation for change. Chapter 11. Cultivating Healthy Relationships.
Okay, so that was chapter 10. One of the things that I have come across when it comes to dealing with a person with NPD is that they're very difficult to deal with. They really are. One of the reasons why they're very difficult because they don't think they have a problem. They think that everyone else is the problem. And as you can tell that you heard in the book, that Nathan wasn't able to be helped by imaging coaching. We had to refer him to a therapist and let them be able to help him because therapists are more experienced in that department if they specialize in that disorder. But as far as Joan, we was able to help her because she was aware that she had a problem and that she wanted help. She wanted to be able to mend her relationships with people that she had basically pushed away in the past. So when a person know they want help, know they need help, and they seek help, they're easier to deal with because they understand that they have a problem. But when a person do not believe that they have a problem, they're the hardest people to deal with. So that's the difference between Nathan and Joan. Now, I do want to clear something up. With the case studies, I did not give the true identity of the people that we really help because it's for protection purposes and for privacy purposes. So I changed the names of them. Now, everyone else, such as Nikita, Eric, Guardian, Karim, those are the real people's names. Those are the real people that I personally dealt with in my family as well as who I was married to. So I wanted to make sure I clear that part up with you. Now, as far as mental health is running rapidly throughout the world today because every day that we wake up is something that is happening, from school shootings to people in dealing with massive disaster from the wars that's going on in Israel to Ukraine, and even the stuff that's happening here in America. It's just so much that's going on to where it makes it hard for a person to wake up and just have a regular normal day. Now, for an empath like me, I feel the pain of others when I see them hurting. So that makes it even harder to deal with. Now, I don't have a mental disorder, thank God. But the main reason why I don't is because I'm grounded. I stay grounded. I stay focused on the truth. The truth of the matter is that I am a believer of Christ. I make sure I stay connected to Him. I read my scriptures. I read the Bible. I even look for other truths because I know that the Bible has a lot, but there's still some missing pieces to that. So I look in other areas where I can get knowledge from. And also I open myself up for God to pour into me information that I need based on myself. And I take heed to it. I don't reject it. And I don't be like, well, I don't want that to happen, so I'm not going to listen to that. I don't do that. I literally pay attention and I say, what can I do as an individual that can help in a situation? One of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast right now is because I had a case study with a young lady who her husband committed suicide. But right before he did that, he had tried to take her out. He shot at her several times. He missed her because she took off running, but he chased her down the road. And as he chased her down the road, a police officer came up on the scene and pretty much intervened in that situation and cornered him, which put him in a position to where he either surrender or he don't. And he chose not to surrender and he took himself out. Well, the lady, she blamed herself, and she really believed that she was the reason why it happened, and she wasn't. He really had a mental disorder. He had a mental illness. Not only that he was I ain't gonna say bipolar because I don't know his diagnosis, but not only that he dealt with MPD, he had a mental disorder. She said that herself to me, and I say, okay, well, now we can see where things perspired at, what was going on for him to even come at her that way. But we couldn't focus on him anymore because he's no longer with us. The focus was all on her. How can she rebuild her life? How can she regain her personality of being stronger than what she was, so she won't repeat this situation again, because she's a magnet to this. And anytime when a person is a magnet to any type of bad behavior happening to them, and I'm talking about with a person who's narcissistic, when a person is attracted to a narcissist, it's destined to continue on that way until they find out within themselves what's attracting that narcissist to them, so they can make these changes so they won't continue on that path. And that's what I've been helping her with along the way of her journey of transforming her life into seeing herself as a better human being, as a worthy person, and to learn to build her self-esteem and to know her self-worth. Now, as for me, what have I been doing? So, first off, I have to admit, I do have trigger moments. I have moments since me and the second husband divorced and split and went our separate ways. I have had trigger moments, even with this current marriage that I'm in right now. My husband now, which his name is Marcus, he is completely opposite. I mean, completely. There's no comparison to my ex, to either of those exes. But I find myself sometimes when there's some things that I want to do or places I want to go that I get nervous to tell him, because I'm having that trigger moment that I'm putting myself back in that moment in my mind when I would tell one of my exes that I wanted to go somewhere or do something. It will result in manipulating me emotionally by getting upset or having a tension tantrum or not talking to me or having the silent treatment, or just flat out just acting up, getting mad, getting angry, just to keep me from going where I want to go or doing the things I want to do. And I tell myself, he's not them. He's not him. He's not him. He's not him. He's not going to do that to me. So when I do snap out of that, and then I tell my current husband, Marcus, hey, I'm going to go here on Saturday. Do you have any plans? Is there anything you want to do? And he's like, no. Well, then I'm going to go here. He don't react like that. He's like, okay, well, baby, have fun. Enjoy yourself. I'll find something to do. Maybe I go to the gym or something like that. And, and when you come back, we can do something together. That's how that goes now. That's why I love him so much, because I don't have to worry about all those, emotional roller coaster moments anymore. And my husband's very grounded and stable in his emotions, and that is so important. When you are dealing with someone who's unstable emotionally, they can put you through so much turmoil to where you start thinking that you're crazy, that you start feeling like something is wrong with you. And if you stay in that relationship or that marriage even further and you continue on that way, then eventually you will have some emotional issues for yourself. You will have some low self-esteem, some anxiety moments. I never knew what anxiety could do to a person because I had never experienced it until I was married to my second husband. I had no anxiety until I got with him. I experienced anxiety like no other when I was married to Nikita. Oh, that anxiety, I don't wish it on nobody, because when I saw him, I instantly felt drained just by looking at him. When he would talk, I felt like my stomach would just go into knots just by hearing him. And when he talked too long, my head would start hurting. And I remember one time, the last conversation we had over the phone, he was trying to tell me that he was getting therapy or whatever, which I did not believe him because he have said that to me before. And then all of a sudden, now you want to get therapy now that we are divorcing, please. But at the time, I remember him talking and I wasn't saying anything. I was just quiet and I was just letting him get out whatever he wanted to say. He wasn't being nasty with me at the time. He was doing he was basically trying to result back to the beginning when we first started. It wasn't happening because I was aware of what he does and how he works. You're just going to repeat the same old cycle over again. You're going to try to butter me up. You're going to try to make me feel good about myself. You're going to try to basically make me feel like you sorry, you remorseful, you're not going to do it again, you're going to change, you're going to therapy now, and you're trying to work on yourself, and the therapy is helping, that kind of stuff. And I sat and listened to all that, and I said to myself, my head is starting to hurt. Oh my God, I can't believe my head is hurting now. And then I said it out loud. I said, oh, my head is hurting. And he said, what? I said, my head is starting to hurt. And he said, oh, so I'm the one that give you the headaches? So I give you headaches? That's what you're saying, that I'm the one that's causing your migraines? Is that what's going on? And I told him, I said, I never brought this up to you when we was together. But yes, every time you get into this rage with me and I'm on edge because I don't know when you're going to explode on me, I'm tensed. I am tensed and my head started hurting because I can't relax. And that's what caused my migraine. Because ever since you and I have been separated, I haven't had one migraine. And my headaches have been little and very mild. And I can take a Tylenol and it will go away immediately. And then I will wake up feeling refreshed when I go to sleep. I get a good night rest and I can wake up and feeling great. I love this feeling that I have right now. Why would I go back to that? And those are the things that I had to recognize and be honest with myself, truly honest with myself, that having those moments with him was something that wasn't healthy for me. No matter how much I loved him, I could not continue that way. So I really hope that this helped you guys to where if you are going through a marriage where it's constant turmoil, constant drama, constant pain, you can't find a moment of rest to just relax, please consider letting that relationship go. It's detrimental for your health. Signing out, Alayla. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.